Thank you so much, Geeta, and good morning to all of you. It's a wonderful pleasure to come from that other Washington to global Washington. I value this community immensely. I have for a very long time. All the things that you've heard from the previous speakers, including our new administrator at USAID, ring so true in terms of the commitment that resides here, the extraordinary creativity and innovation that it brings also to the development sector, the working together to bring the competencies from the sectors to bear on some of our toughest global issues, all of which creates the kind of richness and practicality that we need to see in the solutions to some of our most intractable problems. So I salute each and every one of you, and as I was coming in and walking down the corridor and seeing the tables of so many of the NGOs with whom I have worked, whose work I have seen firsthand around the world, it just reinforced in me what an invaluable community this is, what a difference it makes. And the coming together with the private sector just enhances that in so many ways. I am happy to be here at Microsoft and to be here with Pamela, who I have spoken with and met with and followed in so many global discussions in which she has always brought her own and the company's strong commitment. I was recently in Beijing, and on the outskirts of Beijing, it took about 2 hours to get there, but some of that was traffic, not distance. There is a center, a rural center for girls. And it is a place where girls from some of the most distant, toughest environments come to be trained. They are selected by people who know the conditions in the rural areas well. Others of them make their way to the big city desperately looking for work without the kind of skills and competency that will land them any place that poses a possibility for a brighter future. And they come together at this center and learn the kinds of skill sets that enables each and every one of them either to go back home and to be somebody, to be a leader where she comes from and to make an extraordinary difference, or to have a job in Beijing. And there isn't a girl who doesn't wind up with a solid future in hand as a result of this. So as I was touring the campus of the center, I come to the Microsoft facility, a large room with all kinds of computers, and I've known for years about the work that Microsoft does to make competency skills available to some of the poorest women and girls in the developing countries. And I've often been just a tad skeptical about how this really is able to succeed because of the conditions in which these women and girls find themselves. And I must say, I was just completely bowled over to see these young women doing the most amazing things on their computers that is going to put them in a far different place from where they would have been had they not made it to the center and had Microsoft not been there in its core commitment, making such a difference in their lives. So I am a huge champion of the work that goes on here, not just in terms of what the business is about, but certainly in terms of its global partnership. I want to thank Bill Clapp and Paula, who've come to see me twice now in Washington, told me about Global Washington, twisted my arm just a tab, and elicited a promise that I would come. So I am a very big champion of what they have brought to bear here, something all of you are part of and know so well. And I want to thank Geeta Gupta, who is a national treasure. She has started and done extraordinary work at ICRW, research on women, the likes of which I don't think exists in any other nonprofit of its kind, and now has left that effort only in terms of position and her physical environment, but not in terms of her commitment, to come to Gates and to be an advisor for Gates that all of us will be able to share more broadly in the expertise that is hers. So we have come together to discuss and, I know, to act on strategies that are grounded in innovation and grounded in the kinds of partnerships that have tremendous payoffs, that create those kinds of breakthroughs that you are gathered here seeking to continue to promote, that will help us change our world for the better. I think it's fair to say that today there is a growing recognition that women's entrepreneurship and women's empowerment must be central to any effort to solve our world's most global pressing challenges. And I believe, and I think the data increasingly shows, that strategies that ignore the lives and contributions of women have little chance in succeeding in the ways that they might otherwise. It remains a simple fact that no country can get ahead if it leaves half its citizens behind. And central to our efforts is the recognition that investments in women and girls are at the center of the development agenda, and that gender equality is the key to progress and sustainable development. There is broad recognition as we all continue to struggle for the implementation of the Millennium Development Goals and their central goal to alleviate poverty, that the promotion of MDG 3, which is all about gender equality and women's empowerment, is absolutely central to the achievement of all of the other MDGs. So I believe we can no longer afford to relegate these issues as simply women's issues. Nice issues, soft issues, get to them, they're on the side if you can do it. But not really part of that hard issue paradigm of solving some of the toughest challenges that exist in our world. Well, these concerns, the so-called women's concerns, are truly all about the imperative of global economic, political, and social progress. And I think Secretary Clinton succinctly described the stakes. Until women, she said, until women around the world are accorded their rights and afforded opportunities to participate fully in economic and social and political lives of their countries, global progress and global prosperity will have its own glass ceiling. So raising the status of women and girls is indeed a global imperative. You know, she often talks about the fact that talent is universal. And part of what this global Washington gathering is about is the fact that potential is everywhere, but providing the opportunity to realize that potential, to tap it, and to ensure that those talents can be unleashed on our world is something that I think we are challenged to address. Because we not only shortchange the world's women when we do not do that, but we shortchange our world and the possibilities that we all seek to bring about. So as you've heard, the United States is making women a cornerstone in our foreign policy because we realize that the great issues before us, whether they have to do with security, with governance, with the environment, and particularly economics, cannot be resolved from climate change to the conflict in Afghanistan, cannot be effectively dealt with unless women are participating at all levels of society.